No DQ Galaxy, we are live with predictions for AEW's 2024 Double or Nothing pay-per-view event in Las Vegas, Nevada at the MGM Grand Arena, 5 years after the very first AEW pay-per-view, Double or Nothing, which was also at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. Here we are 5 years later. We've had some ups and we've had some downs in AEW. And we'll see what happens next as we continue on to what I think will be the next 5 years of AEW. I definitely see them being around for the foreseeable future. Let's get everyone's thoughts overall on the show. Now, unlike a WWE Premium Live event, there is a hefty price tag on these shows, $50. But the good news is it's available on more platforms. In addition to Bleacher Report, you can order it on YouTube and Fight TV, and all these different apps carry the show now for people in the United States. So first up, let's throw it over to the Renegade, JJ Williams, who has been a veteran of the No DQ channel and the Jeff Meacham Network. JJ, how are you feeling about Double or Nothing?
I feel like it's a glorified Dynamite.
Wow. 1 to 10, what's your excitement level?
I'm gonna go a 5, and that's only because of a couple of matches on the card that like really have me excited. Most of the card I'm just like whatever about.
All right, fair enough. Matthew, thank you for coming on. You were on the King and Queen of the Ring predictions, so you're back here with us again. How are you feeling about this show, 1 to 10, and compared to King and Queen of the Ring? I mean, which show are you more excited for this coming weekend?
I'm pretty much in the same boat as JJ. It feels like a glorified Dynamite. There's a few matches that are going to be interesting just because it's going to be an absolute train wreck. But I'd say definitely compared to King of the Ring, this is lower. I'd say this is about a
5.
Yeah.
All right, well, there you go. 2 5s. Dwayne Atkinson back with us again. It's been a while since we've had you on, Dwayne. Welcome back. And how are you feeling about this AEW show? Maybe more than a 5?
I'm doing great, and it's great to be back. But before I say anything, I got to do 25 years from over, man. We miss you, dude. As for me, I am looking forward to this, but unfortunately, due to my work schedule, I won't be able to watch it. But, give or take on what everybody's outcome is, and I may order the replay Monday when I'm off. But other than that, I kind of agree with them on both. There's a few matches that kind of intrigue me, but, to me, it's just a fairly predictable pay-per-view as well. I'll go 5.
Wow, there you go, 3 5s. And we had I think the dog is agreeing too, so that's maybe 4 5s. The dog's
Sorry, that's my dog's.
Yeah, your dog wants to chime in on Double or Nothing. So, I mean, would you agree with the other guys plus your dog? This guy Experience, welcome back. You wanted to be on, so we made sure to get you on tonight. Your thoughts on this show?
Well, I mean, not to be mean, but I'm more excited about finally being on a predictions video all this time than the actual show. But again, no offense, but I will give it like 6. I've been brushing up on AEW the last few hours from the last couple, the last month and a half. And some of the clips I've seen on YouTube, they're getting me interested. Too bad I don't have 50 spare bucks to pay to see it, but I'll just obviously watch Aaron Riff's review as always and watch the clips at a later time. But yeah, it should be a above average show. But yeah, I'll say a 6.
Now, see, I'm going higher because I know AEW's track record. The pay-per-views are always great. I'm going an 8. I feel like it's maybe the least hyped Double or Nothing to date, and I feel it is probably on paper the most predictable Double or Nothing card as far as just being obvious what the outcomes are going to be. But let's see. We're going to go through the card, and maybe some people's opinions will change for the better, for the worse. We'll see what happens. And chat room, leave your comments, post your predictions, your theories, even if you're not ordering the show. I want your honest feedback on what you think of each match as we go through it. So do that. And JJ, anything you would like to add before we get started?
I just wanted to make a ha-ha here and say, I guess it's better to be a glorified Dynamite than a glorified Collision.
Very true. I mean, at least it's got some meat to it, you know. Dynamite can be a big show at times. Collision, it is what it is. But let's get started here. We got 10 matches. Not sure if any of these are going to be on the buy-in. I suspect there will be like 3 or 4 buy-in matches added to the card. God help us all, as they say. But we'll get through it. We'll all enjoy wrestling on Sunday night and Saturday. It's going to be a busy weekend. Let's talk about what I believe is the main card, the full main card. We have 10 matches. The first one we will discuss is, I guess, a straight-up wrestling match, as they call it. Orange Cassidy versus Trent Beretta. I personally do not care about this match. Trent Beretta, I mean, I'm sure he's a nice guy and all, but I don't think this needed to be on the pay-per-view. And it seems a little bit of a lower-tier match for Orange Cassidy. I know that they were part of a tag team for a long time, and they finally split and went their separate ways. But, man, this feels like a Dynamite match. Like, it doesn't feel to me like a pay-per-view match. And on Dynamite, Orange Cassidy got beat in that tag match. So I think he's winning this one. Not much else to say about it. I'm sure it'll be a good match, but I really don't think it needed to be on the pay-per-view. This guy experience, I'll throw it over to you. How are you feeling about this one? What's your prediction?
I am agreeing with you. It's pretty standard. I mean, I'm just going to go with the WWE rule of if you lose on the road to the pay-per-view, then more than likely you're going to win the pay-per-view, especially the go-home show. So, yeah, easy. Orange Cassidy, former, what was his championship that he was defending for like a year?
International.
International.
That's what it was. I mean, and Trent Beretta, like I think former trios tag or tag team champion, like it's going to be easily Orange Cassidy. So I mean, not much else to say.
All right, we'll throw it over now to JJ Williams.
Honestly, I'm thinking Trent on this one because if Trent doesn't get the victory, then what the hell are they going to do with him?
Catering.
You know, it's like they turn him heel on Orange Cassidy and then they have him lose the big outing. Like, I think he needs to get the victory here, if for nothing else but to keep the feud going. Get them through the summer a little bit. I don't know. Like this guy experienced said, I could really care less about this match. And I do like Orange Cassidy, but if Trent doesn't win, what are they doing?
All right, well, I mean that's a valid opinion on it. I'll give you that. Shout out to Walter Cruz. Walter sent in a $5 super chat. He said, "I would be more hyped if there were free agents rumored to have signed, or we knew people like MJF were ready to return. It's just blah now." Well, maybe we'll talk about potential returns later on. I don't think we're going to see anything special in this one. Matthew, I'll throw it over to you now. Your thoughts on this match?
I mean, I agree. This should be on Dynamite, but I don't see Pockets losing because, you know, he rarely ever loses. He'll probably take another pile driver up the stairs and, you know, shake it off. But, you know, maybe Don Callis gets involved because there has been the thing there, but Trent could probably join Callis because I don't see, you know, Orange Cassidy turning heel, but yeah, I think Cassidy wins, but no one really cares.
We have a super chat here from Zane. Thank you for that. He sent in $2 to say, "I know you hate AEW, Aaron, but I'm excited to be there." I thought I said 8 out of 10. What did I say for my excitement level? I feel like I was easily the highest.
8 out of 10, and you were
10.
the highest, yes.
Yeah, so apparently I hate AEW. There you go. And thank you for that super chat. Thank you, Walter, for the super chat. If AEW did a pay-per-view in Detroit, I would probably go. So yeah, there you go. Somebody that hates AEW would attend their pay-per-view if it was in their neck of the woods. I wouldn't fly to an AEW show, but then again, I wouldn't fly to a WWE show either. Just me. Anyways, Dwayne, we'll throw it over to you now and then move on to the next match.
To me, it's going to be Trent. It's going to be Callis turning on Cassidy, I think, even though, you know, he did walk out with Don Callis the last time we got pilot road, but we all know the story here. We've seen this a million times. Trent, he's going to turn his back. He's going to help Trent. Trent's winning.
Well, that could be a possibility, a little swerve there where Don Callis is kind of like Tatanka and Lex Luger with the $1 Million Man from SummerSlam 94, where it looks like Lex Luger is going to join Ted DiBiase, but it ends up being Tatanka instead. But you may be onto something there, Dwayne, but I'm sticking with Orange Cassidy. And shout out to Virtue, who's in the chat room ready to make his commentary be known. But let's move on to our next match. We got the FTW Championship on the line, the prestigious FTW title, the Learning Tree Chris Jericho versus Hook versus Katsuyori Shibata. Now, my father-in-law was watching Dynamite on Wednesday, and he doesn't really get into AEW all that much. Like he barely tunes in for Dynamite, and he saw Hook come out there, and he's like, this guy looks like somebody that Braun Breaker would destroy in like 2 minutes. And I'm like, well, he's one of the rising stars of AEW. He actually did praise Shibata, that triple threat they had. I think Brian Keith was the third guy. And my father-in-law actually said that of the three of them, Shibata looked the most legitimate. So there you go. I don't know if that means anything for this particular match, if there's a perception that Shibata is a guy that could run with the FTW title. I mean, do we really care about the title all that much? I mean, it's basically something Taz created in ECW and brought it back for AEW, just a little prop for the Team Taz guys to fight over. I don't know. And I'm still not into the Learning Tree gimmick. I know some people are starting to like it, but it's not working for me. So I really have no interest in this match. Dwayne, I'm going to throw it right over back to you. Let's get your thoughts on this one. Who do you see leaving with the prestigious FTW Championship?
I'll tell you what, for what it's worth, this has just been a regular one-on-one match between Hook and Jericho with a little stipulation to it, you know, where if you don't beat Jericho, he has to join the Learning Tree. This match might be a little bit more enjoyable to watch and you know, kind of might drag more people in, but you made it a triple threat match. I don't see much coming out of this one. Big Bill's going to come in and help Jericho win.
All right, so that's one for Jericho. Matthew, we'll throw it over to you.
Sadly, I mean, the Charlie Brown Christmas tree is going to retain. I think Shibata's thrown into this match to extend this feud longer so Hook has to continue to chase. But yeah, this is another match. If it was one-on-one, I might care, but adding Shibata to it pretty much tells you Jericho's retaining. Hook's going to have to keep fighting or is going to end up having to join the Learning Tree.
Oh, boy. All right, so now we'll throw it over to JJ. I like the Owen shirt, by the way. Very cool. Your thoughts on this match?
Jericho retains hands down, and it's sad that Shibata's talks to text gimmick is more over than like 90% of the AEW roster.
All right, this guy Experience. We'll wrap it up with you. I'm going with Jericho also to retain. Do you think maybe we'll see a title change here? What are your thoughts?
I would want Hook to actually defy our odds, but it's pretty much obvious, especially if it's a triple threat match. There's still the no DQ thing, so I mean anything can happen. No DQ, I mean, pun intended. So I mean, yeah, former big Cass coming out and just knocking out Hook, throwing Chris Jericho on top of Hook, and it's over.
All right, there you have it. We'll quickly move on now to the next match, which is a tag team match. We got a tag team match. A trios match, I should say. Excuse me, trios match. We got the Bang Bang Gang. I guess they're no longer Bullet Club Gold. They're just Bang Bang Gang. And they're defending their trios titles against Death Triangle. And Ray Phoenix has been hitting the weights pretty hard and dieting really well. He looked absolutely ripped on Wednesday night. He's been out of action for a bit. This one maybe could go either way. I feel of the matches on this card, this one might be one of the more unpredictable ones. But I'm leaning towards the champions retaining, even though Death Triangle just reunited. I feel like they want to keep Jay White busy for the time being and have him with the championship. They just merged the ROH 6-man titles with the trios title. So I'm leaning towards a title retention, but I could see it going either way. JJ, I'll throw it over to you. What are your thoughts on this one?
I got to go with the Bang Bang Gang retaining. I don't think that they gave these titles to Jay White for no reason. The Death Triangle, they've got better things that they can do.
All right. What do you think, Dwayne? We'll pass it over to you now.
I apologize. That little comment got to me. Yeah, I'm not dwelling much on this one. I wish they could find something better to do with the Death Triangle, but as it is, filler match to me. I almost said it. Bang Bang Gang wins.
I agree. Bang Bang Gang wins. Now we'll throw it over to this guy Experience for his thoughts. Go ahead.
Well, unfortunately, when I was brushing up on my AEW recent history, this one missed me. So I'm just going to agree with you guys by default, only because I couldn't get to that.
All right. Well, smart move there. Just go with what the majority says, and then you have a better chance of winning, I suppose. Matthew, what do you think?
Well, as the guy said last night, instead of who wrote this, who booked this, but, Bang Bang Gang is winning. This is another throwaway match. I'm just curious if we'll actually see Death Triangles stay together or will Pac disappear for another 6 months after this.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Pac is in, he's out, kind of like Miro, kind of like Malakai Black, and some of these other guys in AEW over the past few years. This is another match that I feel did not need to be on the pay-per-view. Shout out to Michael. He sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Michael. He says, attending Double or Nothing, it's been 3 years. Why should I be excited? Well, I would say it'll be a great show. It's going to be a long show, but every pay-per-view has been great, and even the filler matches tend to over-deliver. So we'll see. I mean, I think Dynasty delivered, and going in, there wasn't a lot of hype behind that show. So you just got to keep in mind that even if the shows on paper don't have the excitement level of previous shows, you know that they're going to go all out, even though it's not all out. It's still AEW, and the brand usually delivers on pay-per-view. Anyways, guys, let's go on to the next match. We got the AEW Women's Championship up for grabs. A rare occasion, maybe the first time, where the women's title is below the TBS title match on the card. I don't think that's ever happened before, and we'll get to that match in just a few moments. We got Timeless Toni Storm defending against Serena Deeb. It should be a good match, but again, I don't see Serena Deeb being the one to dethrone Toni Storm. I think that Serena's just a filler opponent for Toni. This guy Experience, I'll go with you first. What do you think about this one?
Well, Toni Storm was one of my favorites when she was back in WWE. Yeah, I mean, similar to what you said, the only issue I have with this is, well, let me just say, I only predict one title change for this whole entire card, and we were pretty much said it earlier. But as for this match, yeah, I mean, Serena, they both are from former WWE people, but Serena, she's just getting like her last few paychecks in wrestling before she rides off into the sunset. No offense. So yeah, it's like timeless. Toni's keeping it.
Thank you for that. And now we'll throw it over to Matthew. Do you agree that the champion will retain?
Yeah, I agree. Timeless Toni's winning. Now, I know I've predicted a couple times, and it hasn't happened, that now would be the time for Britt or Hayter or both to come back. And this being Double or Nothing, this definitely feels like this would be the perfect time, because if Serena Deeb doesn't beat Hayter or doesn't beat Timeless Toni, who is? Because they're clearly not going to have Mariah May turn on her yet. So now would be the time to bring either both of them back or at least one of them back.
That's a great point. Like, if you're going to bring one of them back, and granted, I don't know what their health status is exactly, but if one of them is available to come back, bring them back on this show. You know, have a big moment with one of them returning. Shout out to the Rock's Jockstrap, who sent in a $2 super chat. We love these usernames here. Is Double or Nothing still considered their WrestleMania? I think All In is considered the WrestleMania for AEW at this point. I mean, Double or Nothing was the first show, so I know that there is something to that. But also All In 2018, before AEW became a thing, that was what really led to the formation of AEW. So I think you would argue either one and would be credible with your opinion. But anyways, guys, JJ, I think we need to get your thoughts and then we move on. Did we get everybody else's?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Dwayne, did we get your thoughts?
Nope.
Okay, JJ and then Dwayne, and then we'll move to the next match.
Toni is retaining, like you said. I feel like Tony Khan has become predictable in that he holds for certain people to take the title. He's waiting for Jamie Hayter to take it All In at Wembley Stadium. I feel like that's our end game here. So Timeless Tony's going to win.
All right, thank you for that. And Dwayne, we'll close it out with you.
I'll tell you what, if there's a character that's actually grew on me, it's this one. It took me a long time to dive into this one, but I'm in it full head first. But y'all bringing up Britt and Jamie Hayter coming back. I had somebody else in mind, but now that I'm sitting there thinking about it, I'm going to use this one for another match. My prediction: Tony's winning.
There you go. Toni Storm retaining the title. No big surprise on that one. And now we'll move on to a match that is odd to me. So we got Jon Moxley, who is the IWGP champion, facing Konosuke Takeshita in an eliminator match, which is basically their way of saying it's a non-title match. If Takeshita wins, he will get a future opportunity at the title. And to me, this screams Takeshita winning. I'm not a fan of a non-title match on pay-per-view. You're paying $50 for a non-title match, really. But it'll be a great match. I just think it should be a title match. That's my opinion on it. I think Takeshita wins. I think it's painfully obvious that he wins, and he'll get a future title match either at a New Japan Pro Wrestling show or Forbidden Door next month. But yeah, Takeshita wins this one. Wish I could say I had more excitement for this one, but yeah, when it's a non-title match, it kind of takes some of the excitement level out. Another match that, since it's non-title, maybe should be on TV and not on a pay-per-view. But Dwayne, we'll throw it over to you now. What are your thoughts on this one?
Oh boy, y'all really threw a monkey wrench on this one. I thought it was for the title.
No title. It's an eliminator match.
Okay, so then yes, what you said makes sense. And I won't see. They've been promising pushing this guy to the moon, make him a top star. So if they're going to do it now's their chance. Somehow there's going to be shenanigans involved to help him win. I'm sure it ain't going to be a clean one whatsoever. I'm gonna take a gamble on this one. I'm gonna go with Takeshita to win this one.
All right. Well, there you go. I picked Takeshita. You did as well. JJ, we'll throw it over to you now.
Takeshita.
That's all you got for that?
Pretty much, yeah. Like Dwayne, I thought this was a title match at first too until you pointed it out. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Takeshita. I feel like the bonus question should be how long before Moxley bleeds in the match?
Oh, geez, to have like the little counter. And I mean, we got enough matches on the show. I like to bust out the bonus points for predictions.
Up and coming to the ring.
Yeah, I mean, he'll bleed just walking down to the ring. This guy experience, we'll throw it over to you now. Anything you wanted to add to this?
I mean, agreeing with you guys, but ultimately, Toni just booked his ass backwards. Obviously, this match should have been on like a Dynamite or whatever, and then Takeshita beats Moxley, and then this match would be on the main card. And at that point in time, obviously, we're assuming John will win, but yeah, ass backwards booking.
All right, so your prediction is?
Oh yeah, Takeshita.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
And Matthew, I guess we close it out with you now and move on to the next match.
I kind of go against you guys. I think Moxley's going to retain just because it's an eliminator match, and I don't see Moxley losing just a random match because it's Moxley. But I hate that this isn't a title match. I'd rather see, we're talking about a guy who beat Omega twice, and they've done nothing with him. Putting the IWGP title on him would set him up for greatness, and he could, go to Japan and defend it and look a lot better than Moxley does with it. But I just don't see him winning because it's because it's an eliminator match. And I can't think of anyone in AEW who's won an eliminator match, but I could be surprised, but I think Moxley is going to pretty much retain.
All right. Well, I appreciate you going with a different opinion here. Dwayne, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, personally, I think it has to be New Japan's approval if they're going to have a title change, not Tony Khan, all right?
Yeah, that is true. I mean, there's politics at play here. Keep in mind the IWGP title is New Japan's thing, and they're working with Moxley right now. They have that relationship. We got Forbidden Door coming up, so I mean, you could be right, Matthew. I wouldn't be shocked either way. Like if Takeshita lost, it wouldn't surprise me either. But man, like it's crazy how that guy was booked to beat Kenny Omega not once but twice, and they never really did anything much with him after that. He kind of just became a background player, like he's just there. Like, that's happened with a lot of guys, though. And Mr. Tito sent in a $2 super chat. He says, the negativity towards AEW is strong tonight. Well, I think we're all trying to find some positivity in the card. It's just like we said earlier and throughout this, these matches feel very predictable. And maybe that's the problem now with doing the monthly pay-per-views. When they had 3 months to build up a pay-per-view, you were able to build up some storylines more. Now you just got to keep coming up with new matches for every single pay-per-view. And it does have a tendency to get watered down a bit. But maybe we'll have some more positivity as we get towards the top of the card. Let's move on to the next match. This one is for the International Championship, which is the title that Orange Cassidy used to have. He was, I think, I'm so confused now. Somebody correct me here if I'm wrong. International title was what Orange Cassidy had, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Because I know that there's the Triple Crown title, and it's just there's a lot. So Roderick Strong defending his title against Will Ospreay. I do not see Ospreay losing anytime soon. He is their hot commodity right now. He's their bread and butter, their big signing, and the guy who's probably going to be the future of the company for several years. He's not losing to Roderick Strong, of all people. I thought Ospreay would not go for a title until All In at Wembley Stadium. So I'm a little surprised he's going for a title so soon that's not the world title. But they could always have him, kind of like the Ultimate Warrior with the Intercontinental title, faces Hulk Hogan, champion versus champion, and beats him and then just forfeits the lesser title. I mean, that could definitely be what happens here. But yeah, Will Ospreay wins this one. This guy experience, I'll throw it over to you. Do you think we'll get a new champion?
Okay, well, now I have to correct myself because I forgot this was on the card. I said I was predicting only one title change. My bad, too. Because Ospreay was the one that injured Deeb. I mean, Danielson, right?
Yeah.
Injured, I guess. Yeah, so I'm going with the hot hand right here. Ospreay taking the belt. I guess he'll hold it for a few months and maybe rise to the ranks even further.
All right, JJ, do you agree with that? That we'll see Ospreay win, and this will be like the stepping stone for him to bigger things.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it sucks to see them repeat storylines so soon, but they had Samoa Joe lay down the Ring of Honor TV title to get a shot at the AEW title or whatever the hell it was. They had him do some stupid shit. I think they're going to do the same thing here with Ospreay when they go to All In. He's going to trade in the international title for a shot at the world title.
All right, well, that could very well be what happens. Dwayne, we'll go to you next.
It's funny how great minds think alike, JJ, because I was kind of thinking the exact same thing. I was kind of scratching my head when this match was made because I was like, well, what's the point of all this? You know, to me, this is like the low tier championship unless he's wanting to start from the bottom and work his way up. You know, he wins this one, then he'll win the possibly TBS title, then the world title. So I don't know where they're going with this, but I mean, you know, to me, Ospreay and AEW is like Roman Reigns and WWE. You can't bet against him. So I'm just like, you know, hey, be champion. Ospreay wins.
Yeah, it's hard to bet against him, and you know, we typically go with like who's going to leave with the championships. You know, sometimes there could be a DQ or something, but AEW typically doesn't do DQs, and especially not on a pay-per-view. So yeah, I think it's pretty obvious we're gonna have a new champion here. Matthew, what do you think?
I'm pretty much in agreement. The Barbed man is gonna become, gain his first championship in AEW. Undisputed Kingdom's a complete afterthought, and they're not gonna have him lose to Roddy Strong. I don't know if he's going to drop the title like JJ mentioned. I could see Toni to please Meltzer making him the new belt collector and walking into All In with multiple belts. But yeah, he's winning this one, and he's probably going to end up winning the world title at All In eventually.
All right, there you have it, and it should be a great match with these guys. I'm sure of that with Ospreay in there, and Strong's really good. You know, they'll tear the house down, but yeah, it's kind of predictable here. You know, Ospreay is way higher on the totem pole that Roderick Strong is at this point, and the Undisputed Kingdom kind of feels flat. Hey, maybe a certain somebody will come back and cost Strong the match, but we'll talk more about a potential surprise later on at the end here, so stay tuned for that. Moving on here, we got some more matches. I mean, it's a long card, 10 matches. We're getting down to the nitty gritty though at this point. We got what is being billed as a TNT Championship barbed wire steel cage match. Adam Copeland defending against Malakai Black. And this past Wednesday, Malakai Black got a bloodbath courtesy of Copeland, a little throwback to the Brood back in WWE. So this one's interesting just because if Malakai Black doesn't win this, what's next for him? Where does he go from this point? Does Copeland even need the TNT title at this point? You know, he did just win it not too long ago from Christian, but he could elevate Malakai Black, or is Malakai Black just a guy who's going to be there until his contract runs out? Are we eventually going to see the Brood, maybe Christian and Adam Copeland get back together and they bring in Gangrel and they face House of Black? There are some different ways this can go. So to me, this is actually one of the more unpredictable matches on the card. I'm curious to get everyone's thoughts on this one. JJ, we'll start with you. Let's hear your thoughts on this match.
This is one of the ones that I'm most confused about. You know, kind of like you said, it's the least predictable. One of those could go either way. I was really starting to sense Malakai Black taking this one until the bloodbath last night, and the possibility that maybe we could get Gangrel, because apparently Adam wanted to bring Gangrel back for one of his SummerSlam matches, and Vince wasn't going to allow him, but I'm sure Tony Khan will let him do it after that bloodbath, man. And like that would just be a huge moment. So I'm gonna go with Adam Copeland retaining here.
All right, that's one for Adam. Matthew, we'll go over to you next.
Like you, if Malakai Black doesn't win, I'm not sure what they're gonna do with him. I am a little curious how they're gonna play it out. But after Malakai Black's jam bath last night, that wasn't blood, that looked like strawberry jam. But I could see maybe Copeland losing and them doing kind of a Danielson joining the Wyatt family type thing, and we see Brood Edge or Brood Cope or whatever they're gonna call him for a bit. But I don't think Copeland needs this title, and Malakai Black definitely could benefit for it. So I think Malakai Black actually might win this one. All
right, there you have it. One for Malakai Black. We'll throw it now over to the This Guy Experience.
Put that super chat. Spencer, he basically stole what I was going to say. Based on how much time Malakai Black has left in his contract, I feel like they're going to give it to him to extend his stay at AEW. Ultimately, Adam Copeland, aka Edge, doesn't really need any titles at this point in his career. I mean, if anything, he would have won the Universal, whatever the heck the title is that Roman used to have back, like 2 years ago or whatever. So I feel like this is Malakai Black's time to, I guess, shine, hold a title for a little bit, and this may pique his interest to stay with AEW. Ultimately, sadly, I don't think Tony's going to ever push him to where John Moxley is or even Swerve is. But I still, kind of feel like it's a smart move to put gold around Malakai Black's waist.
Thank you for that, This Guy Experience. And Tiger sent in a €2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, why does it feel as if Vince is booking AEW? Which Vince? Vince Russo or Vince McMahon? If it's Vince McMahon, there's not enough bodily fluids being transferred from person to person on that show to make it Vince McMahon. And certainly not Russo, because we'd actually have some characters in AEW. I mean, maybe really over-the-top, ridiculous characters, but every guy would have a gimmick if Vince Russo was booking it. But anyways, Dwayne, let's get your thoughts, and we'll move on to the next match.
Danhausen's not an over-the-top character.
Yeah, well, he's not around anymore, so...
Yeah, I'm going to actually wonder whatever happened to him. But anyway, we'll talk about that later.
Of course, just that it was a novelty gimmick.
You know what? I've been going back and forth on this one, and I like the idea we are going with Malakai Black because, he doesn't need it. What's these? I mean, God, I want to feel like Malakai is going back to WWE though, because number one, because his wife's there. But if he's going to do that, he needs to take Brady and at least Brady with him. I don't know about Buddy Matthews, but if anything else. I'm just going for shits and giggles. I'm just going to say Malakai wins.
I want to see him win. So Adam Copeland needs some help, and maybe that's when he brings in Gangrel and maybe Christian. They reunite to take out the House of Black. If Copeland wins, it kind of takes the heat away from the whole storyline. I think the heat needs to be with House of Black. So I want to say Malakai Black, but I don't feel confident. I'm going with Adam Copeland to retain, and I hope I'm wrong. I want to be wrong on this one. Dwayne?
Oh, what if Christian shows up with Gangrel and they turn on Edge?
I don't think that's happening. I think Copeland and Christian are going to get back together before Copeland retires. I think that they're going to close out. They had their feud, and I think they're going to make peace, and we're going to have – I think there's money there with Adam Copeland and Christian as a tag team before they retire. So I don't see them – I think the feud is done. They had their feud. It ran its course. This guy?
Yeah, just to follow up on what I was saying earlier, ultimately I feel like the former duo of Edge and Christian are not leaving this pay-per-view with any gold around their waist. I mean, you can add Gangrel in there for the spectacle thing, but they don't need to win the championship. They're the elder statesmen. They had their time to shine. They both have multiple world championship reigns in their past. So, I mean, it's Malakai Black's time. I just got to keep saying it. I hope he wins, too, because I'm still angry how they screwed him over in WWE. So this is a combination of kind of figuring out based on how realistically it seems like contract-wise, money-wise, and stuff like that. And in addition, it's kind of the fantasy booking, too. So,
all right, JJ?
I just wanted to piggyback off what Dwayne said, but reverse it. You have Gangrel with Edge for this one. Then you have Christian lose the title match. And you have the patriarchy turn their backs on him for not being able to live up to the standard he's trying to set. And you have Gangrel and Edge come in for the save on him.
There you go.
And that's how you get them all together.
There you go. I like that idea. And, maybe Mr. Tito sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Tito. He says, Copeland plus Christian plus Gangrel over 150 years old. You know what? I wanted to bring this up. JJ, you have the Owen Hart shirt. I'm thinking of when Brett turned after WrestleMania 13 and they had that segment with the British Bulldog and Owen Hart where they were fighting and Brett came in and had to get them to make peace with each other. Maybe that's where Gangrel fits in. Gangrel comes out there and gets Adam Copeland and Christian back together and they form the Brood. I mean, there's an idea. But hey, this match is the first one I feel like we've actually had some fun discussion and we're all invested in it to some degree, compared to the other matches. We're just well, this guy wins, it's predictable, blah, blah, blah. This one, we got some different ideas flowing. Dwayne?
150 years combined experiences, and all three of them are still going strong today.
That is true. It's kind of sad that you need these guys, possibly being together to draw up interest, but hey, I guess whatever works, right? People are talking about it, and I'm very curious. This is one match on the show where I'm legitimately intrigued about how it plays out. And they got the whole. We haven't really even talked about the stipulation. I mean, there's probably going to be a lot of blood and violence, and it'll be a spectacle and probably outside interference, and that makes you wonder if we'll see Gangrel show up or. I don't think Christian yet because Christian's still a heel. But, after the pay-per-view, when we'll get to Christian in a few minutes, we may see a change in direction with him. But let's move on to our last three matches. So they're billing this show as having three main events. Obviously, only one can close the show, but they're hyping up three main events. We're going to talk about the world title first. We just talked about Christian, and unfortunately, I feel like this isn't the biggest high-profile title match in AEW's run up to this point. Maybe at the bottom as far as pay-per-view championship matches go. I can't think of and this is nothing against either guy. Swerve has stepped it up, and he's the man now, and Christian's been great, but it really does feel like Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles. It just feels like a guy for Swerve Strickland to beat. I don't see him losing the title until All In. I think the key to this match is it may lead to the eventual breakup of Christian's group and maybe them turning against him, as JJ pointed out. Christian loses, maybe Copeland loses, and they kind of need each other all of a sudden. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I think Swerve retains here. Just somebody for him to beat. Dwayne, we'll go over to you. Your thoughts on this one?
I ain't going to dwell on this match. Swerve's winning. It's going to be one hell of a match, though, that's for sure. Even at 52, 53 years old, Christian can still go. He's going to put him over, make him look like $1 million. That's all I got to say.
Now, I did mention earlier, MJF and potential surprises. What if this is where MJF returns, shows up after the match, and confront Swerve Strickland. Like that could definitely get people talking. And I agree with the chat room. We need MJF back badly in AEW. Like he is definitely missed, and now the rumors are starting to be out there about MJF. Dwayne, anything you would like to add?
Somebody freeze? Was it just me?
Wait, you froze there.
Huh?
Uh-oh.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, try again. Technical
Screw you,
difficulties.
internet. All right. MJF will be a great one. I don't think he's coming back just yet. If anybody came back, I could see one or two people. And I don't even think this one's ready yet. Keith Lee or possibly Adam Page coming back. But, I don't think either one of them's coming back to confront him just yet. He's just getting started. So it's just going to be a simple 1, 2, 3 on to the next match.
All right, thank you for that. This guy experience, we'll throw it over to you.
Okay, before I give my answer, quick question. In AEW's recent history in general, 5 years, has it ever been a similar WWE situation where I'll just use, Adam Copeland, funny enough, like a Cena and Edge situation where every couple months they trade the world title back and forth?
Not really. Like each champion has had like a good 6-month reign at the minimum. They've done a good job of not hot potatoing the world title, to their credit.
I actually sometimes it's good to see that because it can show that the opponents are on equal footing.
Yes.
Trading back and forth. And again, one of the best times in my loving wrestling is Cena versus Edge back and forth for months. And every time Cena would pick up the victory at that point in time, I would get angry and sad that the heel Edge lost the title, and then I would be overjoyed when he get it back. So, but anyway, other than that, I think it would be a good time to actually start doing this. If MJS is coming back, then it would be a good time to start doing a little hot potato for a little bit, not too often. But if he's not coming back anytime soon, then still going to be Swerve. Ultimately, as much as I like Jason Cage or Jason Christian Cage, he's not winning. Again, he's an elder statesman. He just needs to sell really well for the up and coming world champion. That's pretty much as simple as that. I just was questioning that.
All right, Matthew, we'll throw it over to you now. What are your thoughts on what this guy experience said, and what's your take on it?
I hope Swerve looks strong in this because honestly, he's looked very weak. They've beaten him down every week for the past month, and he's your world champion. And they pull the whole, he's the first black world champion in AEW history, and he's getting beaten down. This Wednesday was the first time he didn't get beaten down, and he's gonna win, but they have to make it look strong and make us actually care about it. Because right now, I don't know how many people actually care that Swerve is champion, and it's sad because he had such a great build towards it, and I want to see him be a great champion, but I feel like he's just the placeholder until they put it on Meltzer's golden boy Ospreay, probably at Allin.
Well,
But I want it to be a good match, and Swerve's probably going to bleed like a pig like he is. So we're probably going to see Moxley bleed, Edge or Malakai Black bleed,
Both.
Swerve bleed,
Anarchy
and then Anarchy and Rita. We're going to at least see probably at least 4 bloodbaths in this pay-per-view. But yeah, Swerve just needs to win and needs to look strong doing it.
Well said there, Matthew. Dwayne, you had your hand up. Anything you would like to add?
No, I was agreeing. He asked me, said he was saying something about who wants Swerve as champion. I was like, I do. I was rooting for him to get it, and I'm glad he finally got it.
Yeah, for sure. But I agree with Matthew that, like, so far it's kind of been a lackluster run. This guy experience?
I'm going to not really piggyback, but what Matthew said, if I'm taking beatings all the time, again, going back to WWE, I hate to keep doing that, but it's similar to how Cena is booked, like physically opposing guy, but they always got to make him look weak and the underdog, even though clearly he's not the underdog. similar to early Roman Reigns. Again, clearly he's a big dude. They got to make him look like an underdog. Unfortunately, in this company, they don't have like some kind of conspiracy situation where the whole company kayfabe is against the main guy, like they did for boring Roman Reigns and Stone Cold back in the day. They don't have that kind of thing. That kind of storyline is safe for the Elite or the Young Bucks there. So if you could merge those storylines together to make it seem that like everyone's against Swerve, to make everyone like root for him or more, then that'd be cool. But yeah, I mean, the fact that he's taking a beating, they're just trying to make him look like the underdog to get people to say, yeah, we want this guy to win. We want this guy to win. But ultimately, I mean, this like compare Christian Cage to Swerve, like it's not even a competition. So that's the only reason. That's the only thing I need to say about that. That's the reason why they have him look weak all the time, is to when he finally wins, they're like, yeah, he did it. He overcame the odds. No odds at all. There was no odds in the world at all for this match.
Thank you for that. And JJ, anything you would like to add to what this guy experienced said, or any other thoughts on the match?
I don't think there's much to be added here. Swerve is going to take this, even though Christian's doing the best work of his career right now.
Yeah, it should be a good match, and I'm hopeful that they'll use this to start the split with Christian and get him back with Adam Copeland. So we'll see what they do with that. Should be a really good match. All right, so this one to me is maybe the biggest question mark as far as like how the match is going to play out. I think the outcome is obvious, but like, is the match going to live up to the hype? We got Willow Nightingale defending the TBS championship against Mercedes Moné. Finally, Mercedes is getting in the ring. She's been out of action for, I think, over a year now, or just about a year. And she debuted in March, but was not ready to wrestle yet. She's coming back, and the pressure is on because so far people have not been blown away by Mercedes and AEW. So it's really critical. I mean, I would say this is one of the most important matches of her career, because people are expecting her to live up to the hype. You know, she's got to come in there and show everybody that she's not just the top female star in the company, but one of the top stars in the entire company, period, male or female. And she's got to deliver big, and she's got a lot of competition on this show. You got Will Ospreay. You got Anarchy in the Arena. You got John Moxley and Takeshita. You got a lot of really talented people on this show. Can Mercedes and Willow tear the house down? Like, I feel like they need to have a killer match, or else people are just going to say, yeah, this Mercedes thing is a flop. You know, she's a bust. They got a lot of pressure, I think, to deliver in the ring. I think Mercedes is the obvious winner here, and I'm going with her. But I'm curious as to how this plays out. We'll see if Willow can hold her own. I mean, she's done some really solid stuff. And, you know, there's also the concern, will Mercedes get hurt? You know, is she good to go? We'll see. You know, it's going to be a big question mark. I hope they succeed. I hope they tear the house down. Matthew, I'll go over to you on this one. What are your thoughts and expectations for this match?
Well, I'm going to have some spicy takes on this one. But
Ooh.
One, I don't think this should be part of a triple main event. I think it was made that way so Mercedes wouldn't have a tantrum. I don't think this is going to live up to the hype. I don't think Mercedes is ready. And I feel bad that Willow is going to be a transitional champion, because she's had, 2 defenses, I think, one in AEW and then one in Stardom. And I think Willow is the better wrestler, the better promo, the better personality. Everything Mercedes does is just, hey, look, I'm dancing. And remember, I was big in WWE because they could hide my flaws. And Mercedes is winning, but it's the wrong choice.
Wow. Well, that, my friends, was a mic drop. So there you go. I think Mercedes, Sasha Banks, I think she was really good in WWE when she needed to be. When she went out there in the big the big matches. I think she delivered, but at the same time, you can argue that she had that marketing machine behind her, and they were very good at hiding whatever flaws she had. I also think she's better as a heel, and she'll probably get booed out of the building on this show, especially because kind of like Hulk Hogan syndrome. When Hulk Hogan went to WCW, he was seen as the outsider by the WCW fans, and they booed him out of the building. And I kind of feel like that might be the vibe here, where the AEW faithful, they see her as a WWE talent, and they're going to turn against her. But I think she does the heel role better, and if she plays into it and goes full heel, like maybe it'll work. And I'm rooting for her. I hope she can deliver in the ring and they tear the house down, and she shows everybody, hey, I am legitimate. I am a big deal here. JJ, what are your thoughts on this one? I mean, do you think she can make it without the WWE machine?
Simple answer, no.
Wow.
Matthew said a lot of the stuff that I was going to say. He knows my feelings about Mercedes Moné. I'm sure Dwayne knows my feelings about Mercedes Moné. They have heard me talk ad nauseum some very not nice things about her on my show in the past. I love Willow. I think she's exactly what AEW needs right now. Problem is Tony Khan sees Moné signs. And unfortunately, Mercedes is going to take the belt. I do see, though, a Chris Statlander heel turn here. I think that's how we get there.
There you go.
So then there's the automatic rematch. You couldn't do it on your own. You had to have my best friend turn against me. And then once Willow can get through Stat, she'll get another shot at Mercedes.
Now, of course, we could see some possible surprise returns. I mean, this could be the spot where Britt Baker returns, maybe.
Possibly. I have a feeling if anything, they're going to return in the Toni Storm match, because I could definitely see Britt and Jamie versus Toni and Mariah at Forbidden Door.
Well, who's Mercedes' next opponent? Do you think they do the rematch?
Probably do the rematch for Forbidden Door, and then I hate to say it, but I think Toni would want to go for the big money and probably do Mercedes versus Saraya at All In Wembley.
Exactly.
And then, even though she wouldn't win, there's the buildup of, can Saraya win the TBS title in her home country just like she won the women's title a year ago?
There you go. I like it. I mean, Saraya definitely seems like a good choice, although she hasn't really been doing a whole lot. Dwayne, anything you would like to say about this one?
Yeah, this is probably going to be my boldest prediction tonight. I had a pretty good idea, but JJ threw something that I didn't even think about Chris Statler turning the heel. All these talk about these possible returns of Britt Baker, what's her name?
Jimmy Hayter.
Jimmy Hayter. I'll look at it like this. She's going to have a lot. Mercedes is going to have a lot of ring rust. I don't think she's going to go out there and put a 5-star match out. Not that she's ever done one. But I'll look at it like this. Every big star always has to have a corner person, a bodyguard of some sort. And I'm wondering if this may be where they might bring in Camille as possibly Mercedes' bodyguard to help her win, help her keep the title while she's still getting better in the ring as well.
I like that idea.
I'm still picking Mercedes to win this match, though.
I think that's a perfectly valid prediction there. Like I'm all for that. I think that would be a great way to get heat on Mercedes. Let her go full heel. She's got the bodyguard, kind of like a Shawn Michaels Diesel thing. I think that's a fantastic idea. So we'll see if they do that and go full heel with Mercedes. This guy, did we get your prediction or no?
No. Yeah, I mean, all that stuff. This is one of the matches I was looking forward to discuss as well. And a lot of good opinions, predictions. I mean, this is. I didn't even think about most of this stuff. Yeah, like JJ with the Chris Stoutlander, like just turning heel on Willow, like that's very interesting. I mean, go one step further, like they had that whole who knocked me out backstage mystery storyline. You could be like, oh, or Mercedes almost slapped Chris. And actually hit Willow, and maybe that was on purpose. Maybe like that's a setup, and then you're like, "Hey, it was me all along." Like, let me stop. Do the Vince McMahon, and Chris is now, yeah, as Aaron said, you're going to be Moné's Diesel in this situation. That'd be cool too. I mean, her persona is she's better than everybody. She has the money. She's the CEO. Buy and sell people, right? Buy and sell things. So you can have her. Towards the end of the match, Chris looked like she's going to help Willow, and then like you kind of make it look like an accident, and then 1, 2, 3 is over, and then you're like, oh, like, and then out of nowhere, Chris straight shakes hands with Moné, and you're like, oh, what's going on? Like that sounds like an epic like hill. I mean, now I'm saying that it's not going to happen, but that's like a good way to like sell this match. But I disagree with you guys. I don't think I think you guys are too hard on former Sasha Banks. She's really good in the ring. Promo skills not up to snuff. So I would say, yeah, if you could get a mouthpiece for her, like her character is a CEO, so she can buy somebody to speak for her. She doesn't have to say much of anything. Let her fists and feet do the talking. So yeah, I mean, obviously this is one of the obvious matches, but I just wanted to discuss it more because it's a lot of ways you can get to the finish line with this match. And yeah, I'm glad JJ brought up that heel turn for Chris. So yeah, obviously again Moné, but yeah.
All right, thank you for that, this guy. And on that note, we will move on to our third and what I think should probably be the final match of the show. I mean, they may go with the world title, but I mean, what's going to top this one as far as just pure chaos and just a spectacle of a match? We got Anarchy in the arena, the Young Bucks, the tag team champions, with everybody's favorite scapegoat, Jack Perry, and Kazuchika Okada. They're going up against Team AEW, which is Bryan Danielson, FTR, and everybody's favorite daredevil, Darby Allin. Now this is going to be wild. If the other Anarchy in the arena matches are any indication, you can expect them brawling all over the place. We're going to have tons of weapons, tons of violence, blood, guts, everything but the kitchen sink, and maybe even the kitchen sink. I mean, it's going to be very entertaining. We may even get real glass in this match if Jack Perry has any say in it. So I'm really looking forward to this just because I know it's going to be a wild spectacle. And I just hope nobody gets hurt. You know, with these types of matches, you want to be entertained, but you also don't want to see the wrestlers get hurt for real. Part of what makes wrestling great is when they can make it an illusion where you think somebody's getting hurt, but nobody really is. Like, to me, that's the real art in wrestling, is making it look real without people actually getting hurt. When people are getting hurt, I don't think you're doing it right. That's just my opinion on it. So we'll see what they do in this match. I mean, I'm sure they'll come up with some really creative stuff. Everybody say a prayer for Darby Allin. You know, he's probably going to nearly kill himself as he does. I mean, he does it on Dynamite. On Dynamite matches, he'll randomly do some crazy shit and nearly kill himself. So just imagine what he's going to do on a pay-per-view. You know, he's done it before, you know. It's going to be crazy. This guy experience, I'll throw it right back over to you. Your thoughts on this?
Obvious. The Elite is winning. I mean, it makes the best sense. They are the heel faction. They are the, I guess, Vince McMahon or Ministry of Darkness, whatever corporate ministry in this situation. I'm so sorry, everybody who loves AEW. I'm a lifelong WWF/WWE fan, and anything I reference wrestling, I even reference wrestling to describe real life issues. Anyway, the Elite's winning this. It's going to be a good showing, and it's kind of like the funny thing. Bryan or Danielson once again going against the corporation again in a new company. He did it last time with the WWE when everyone was against him. So now he's teamed up with Team AEW to go against the Elite. The best way to keep this storyline going is to always keep the Elite as strong as possible. You can maybe run it for a good 8 months to a year. And another thing, like Team Elite is also like the NWO that you're going to take over. I hope eventually they like beat some more people down, get them in the group, but don't make the group too crazy like NWO. Just one or two more members. People kiss up to them like, hey, I want to better my career. You guys write this show, this and the third. Be a cool gimmick to have the Elite and just keep them strong.
I agree that I think the Elite will win this one just because I know they're going to do blood and guts. You know this feud's going to continue. You want to keep the Elite strong as heels. You know, they're the top guys here. So I think they'll pull off the victory. Cash Wheeler will probably be the one that takes the fall or submission or whatever it is. And hopefully Bryan Danielson comes out of this okay. You know, he's had some close calls in these Anarchy in the Arena matches. Matthew, I'll throw it over to you now. What are your thoughts on this one?
As much as it pains me and makes me want to throw up in my mouth, the Elite are winning. There's going to be chaos. There's going to be shenanigans. We might even see a flamethrower now because of Darby. We might even see Tony Khan show up. But it's, the Elite have to win this if they're going to keep up the hostile takeover. And I'm thinking either Darby or Dax is going to be the one to eat the pin. And most likely, depending on how healthy Darby really is he's probably going to do one big crazy spot and then probably spend most of the match out of it like he did with Sting. But yeah, the Elite are winning.
Yeah, like what do they come up with in this match that they haven't done already? That's the thing. Like what outlandish usage of tables or ladders or jumping off the stage? What are they going to come up with in this to make it different from the other ones? JJ, what are your thoughts on this match?
You really don't want me to speak on this one, boss.
Let's hear it. We're live. This is no DQ.
Are you sure? How many F-bombs do we get? Just one?
I mean, go ahead. You got at least one.
I gotta try and figure out where to place it.
Yeah, you gotta be, just like in wrestling, you gotta find the right timing to push the envelope.
So this match right here is why AEW will never ever defeat WWE. This should be a feud ending match, not the first match in a series. This is where those putrid fuck Jackson brothers still are booking with their guerrilla mentality instead of trying to book a major league wrestling promotion. This should be at All In. This should be at All Out. This should be 3, 4, 5 months down the road, not the first match after this super elite has been formed. And if we're being honest, the guys that are standing up across from the Elite shouldn't even be in the match. It should be maybe a guy like Darby, but it should be like your Sammy Guevara's. It should be your MJFs. It should be your pillars. It should be your originals. Or if anything, it should be guys like Jericho, MJF, Moxley, the champions, avenging AEW against these jokes. Again, ask Dwayne, ask Matthew. They know how I feel about the Massey brothers. And they're going to win because they're going to book themselves to win. Why would they book their opposition to get the victory here?
All right.
That just makes zero sense. It's the only way Rod and Todd Flanders will ever be cool.
Wow.
And they've got Ralph Wiggum on their team.
Whoa.
and Millhouse. But somehow they're going to be the victors here.
Oh, God. Well, John says, if you're always so negative with AEW, why you want to stream about it? Don't get it with this place. Look, I feel like I'm the most positive one here. Thank you for that. That was another pipe bomb. We've had quite a few drop tonight, a couple mic drops. This guy, what do you want to add to that?
Okay, so it's
Shawn
a
1995. Top that, this guy.
I can't. I obviously was going to piggyback off you, Aaron, but I guess I'll do both of you. So, yeah, you said what else can you do in this match that hasn't been done in AEW and in general? The fact that, and the person that mentioned, like, we're so negative about AEW, it's criticism. I mean, constructive criticism. You want to get better, you need to, I mean, some people are just straight up negative, whatever, but sometimes just listen to what they have to say. Take it in. If it's nonsense, spit it out. If it's understandable, then do something about it. But anyway, yeah, they do crazy stuff every week. From the clips I see on YouTube, they do crazy stuff all the time. So there's not much you can do past here. And then you have a big match, just like JJ. This is a crazy match. You should save it towards the end. It should be the ending of a chapter, not the beginning. It should be this match should be a 2-1-2, 3-on-3, whatever regular match. Then a couple months from now, then you escalate a little bit like a ladder match. Then from there, stipulation like, hey, if you guys keep losing against us, if you lose again, then you're fired. Blah 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 blah. And then they maybe pick up a bullcrap win, and then they'll end like either at the end of this year or beginning of next year. Then you have this crazy big match. Like, hey, they've been kicking us in the face with dirt all this time. Again, I'm speaking for AEW in general. So yeah, have the Team Randy, Team Cena against the Authority or whatever like that. Have it like that towards the end of this feud. But yeah, starting off this hot, there's nowhere else to go. You can't go off the scale.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing about the criticism. Like, everybody's got their own opinion on things, and if it's drawing well, it's harder to criticize it. But if it's not drawing well, then I think there's some legit complaints about it. I mean, look at their numbers. They have been down year to year. The numbers are down across the board. Attendance, television ratings, just the overall buzz in the brand is down from what it was. And, we've talked about 5 years of AEW. We want to see it succeed. I always make a note of this, that nobody wants to see AEW fail. We all want to see it grow and get bigger and take it to WWE. We want to see Triple H sweat. We want him to be on the top of his game. And when the competition is hot, WWE has to step it up. Competition is good for everybody. We don't want to see AEW with 3,000 people in the building. We want to see them packing these arenas every single week. We want to see their numbers up. We want to see the wrestlers make more money. We want to see these guys get paid. And, Tony Khan can throw a lot of money out there, but if you're running a business, at some point, you got to make that money back that you're investing in. So for the next 5 years, they got to get that money. I mean, sure, they can just keep spending and spending and spending, but at some point, you got to treat it like a business if you want it to be able to be a success long term. So we're all wanting the same thing. We want AEW to be the best brand possible and be as successful as possible.
Yeah. AEW has all the talent in the world. They just need the right people in the office to regulate it and book it properly. They truly are that diamond in the rough. They just need to be polished the right way. And I'm not saying that doing it the WWE way is the right way, but they just need to switch a few things up and they will really be hitting on all cylinders. And unfortunately, the Bucks are not main event talent. It's like, think about it, Rift. you know as well as I do, the Bucks have only ever been in the main event of companies that they've owned or been EVPs of.
Mm.
You tell me another company that Matt and Nick Jackson were in where they were a main event player that wasn't PWG or AEW.
Ring of Honor? New Japan?
Not TNA.
TNA, they were Generation Me. I mean, they
They
barely
weren't even the Young Bucks.
No, but still the same scenario. No.
But to be fair, like when them and Cody were doing their thing, they were getting buzz, and AEW took off because of the Bucks to some degree. To their credit, I know defending the Young Bucks is something that seems to be a difficult task, but without them, I don't know if there would be an AEW. So I will defend them in that regard. Dwayne, anything you would like to add about this match?
All this talk. What match we talking about again?
I know Anarchy in the Arena.
Okay.
4-on-4.
Yeah. To me, the end story for me, I see is I think we've probably seen it several times. I know we've seen it in WWE. I know we've seen it at least more than once in TNA, where somebody comes over and takes over the company. Yada, yada, yada. They win. They book themselves in the main events. And in the end game, it's going to come down to winner of the match gets control of the company back. And I think this is what we have with AEW and Tony Khan. He's going to come down to it where it's going to be Team Tony against Team Elite at Blood and Guts probably. And, either they win or they're probably fired or, quote, quote, fired from their positions. So I'm just going to go with the Elite win in this match.
All right, there you have it. Elite win what will probably be the first in a series. And, I think that's a fair criticism to say that, they should probably not do this match as the first match of a feud. But with Blood and Guts, they tend to do a lot of crazy stuff in that match too. And like I said, hopefully nobody gets hurt. And I think we got everybody right as far as predictions go. So we'll wrap it up. Double or Nothing is this Sunday, and we'll see what happens. Let's go ahead and do our plugs of This Guy Experience. Thank you for being on. Anything you would like to plug or promote?
Usually, I think, what is it? Not this time. I'm sorry. I'm not prepared for the plugs. I'm not really a social media person, but my fiance, she has a crochet shop. Check out previous No DQ reviews when I'm on there. Check those out again. But yeah, nothing this time.
All right. Well, thank you for that, and a pleasure to have you on. Dwayne, anything you would like to plug or promote?
No plugs or anything. I just want to give a shout out, say thank you for allowing me back on here again, and I'm looking forward to doing this more often. I hope this time.
Thank you, Dwayne. And Matthew, anything you would like to plug or promote?
Not really. Just, again, thank you for having me on. Always a pleasure. Check out No DQ, and it's going to be a wild weekend. And, I'm excited to see how both shows turn out, even if we may not,
Get much
have
sleep.
the bed. Yeah, get the most sleep, or, like you said, we don't want AEW to fail. We want it to be good, but, we're going to see how they go from here.
Yeah, I mean, it's they could be at a crossroads. They got the TV deal coming up, and there's a lot on the line here. They gotta get some buzz here. With the new television season coming up, and trying to renew that deal and maybe get a better deal. They gotta step it up. All right, JJ, thank you. I appreciate the opinions, by the way. It's good to have some different opinions. We don't want everybody coming on here and saying, oh, yeah, this is all great. Everything's wonderful. At the same time, we don't want everybody just saying, yeah, AEW sucks. It's terrible. We want a balanced discussion and getting some different viewpoints on things. So JJ, we'll go ahead. I know you got something you want to promote for everybody. So thank you for being on tonight. We appreciate it. And I'll throw up the graphic here. Go ahead with your plug.
Thank you for having me. At the top of the hour, myself, the Jeff Meacham Network, are going to do a retro watch-along for WWF Over the Edge 1999. Of course, it was 25 years ago this evening that we tragically lost Owen Hart. And we're going to be taking a look at that event for the first time in about 25 years and kind of reliving it in real time. As crazy or morbid as that sounds, it's a historic event in wrestling history, and we felt that with it being the 25th anniversary, that some attention should be brought to it. And then tomorrow night, we're actually going to do a watch long for Raw as Owen. And then, of course, on the Multiversa Media, we've got our watch long coverage of King of the Ring and Double or Nothing. So just make sure you tune in across the Jeff Meacham Network Multiversa Media for all of that stuff, starting at the top of the hour.
Oh, we got an animal cameo on tonight. Got to get a close up, of course.
Yep. My dogs had dogs, so I gotta find some homes for these little guys.
No, should have brought your pup on earlier. We would have bumped the numbers up for this. Puppies and cats always bring in the viewers. But anyways, guys, thank you all for being on. I appreciate it, and enjoy the weekend. A lot to look forward to, and stay tuned to NoDQ.com. I will be doing coverage of both shows. No wedding this weekend, so thank you, Virtue, for just getting married once. I appreciate that. One and done. And now I can get back to business this weekend. NoDQ.com will keep you updated. And buy a shirt, NoDQ.com/merch. And we will see you all next time.